Good afternoon. My name is Ed Patterson. And to my friends, thanks for joining me today. I'm taking, if you listen to the last few videos, a little bit slower cadence in talking about the antis. They have a fascinating story. I think you'll love it. They go from 1829 to 2024, and they do some imaginations. You're going to go, are you kidding? That's a very interesting situation. And it is. And again, we won't go deep in anything, but I think it's worthy to know just kind of what path they followed and why they do what they do. Okay, let's start. So my interest is Alexander Campbell, the second anti, after Abner Cole, who was in Palmyra. So I want to tell you a little about Alexander. I've talked about him before, but I just want to flesh out a little bit what happened to him and why it's germane to what we care about. So Alexander Campbell was a famous man. He got his doctorate degree in England and his preaching license. He came to America. In Virginia, he was in the Baptist church, and he was a famous preacher. He was a very good preacher, very good orator. People flocked to him, they liked him, they followed him. But as he studied the religion of the Baptists, he didn't agree with all of it. He had a better thought. And so he actually started his own church, the Church of Christ, or Disciples of Christ. He moved to Ohio and started to build that church, and he was very successful at it. Thousands of people came to it. So, as you saw in a previous video, he had a problem. The problem was Parley P. Pratt. Parley was one of his sub-preachers. Full in, went to preach his gospel, the Disciples of Christ, ran across the Mormons in New York, read the Book of Mormon, liked it, joined. Joseph said, thank you, Parley, for being a member of the church. I want you and two of the witnesses and one other fellow to go west and preach to the Lamanites. Where are they? They're out in Missouri. That's about 1,000 miles away. So off they go. They're faithful men. On the way, Parley says, I'm going to stop in Ohio and just talk to my friends there because they need to know about this. This is great. So he comes upon them, and the first person he meets is Sidney Rigdon. And Sidney goes, well, I'm not really enthused by the Book of Mormon, but I guess I'll read it. He reads, and he joins the church. 5 other sub-preachers joined the church, 6 in all. Around 1,000 of the members of the Disciples of Christ joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Alexander Campbell is not happy. This has damaged him both in reputation and in money being donated to him. So he has an axe to grind. And the axe he has to grind is Joseph Smith could not have been truthful. And this didn't come from any God or angels. This is something he made up, and the Book of Mormon is wrong. So I'm going to read just a few things he said, and then there's a punchline to all this coming up towards the end. So let me get glasses on. So he says, Smith, talking about Joseph, its real author, an ignorant and as impudent a knave as ever wrote a book. So that was kind of his shot there. Okay. The Book of Mormon professes to be written in intervals and by different persons during the long period of 1,020 years. And yet the uniformity of style, never was a book more evidently written by one set of fingers. Joseph Smith. So Joseph's behind this. He's a knave. He's created the book to make money or have people follow him, but it is not of God. He's confident of that. Some more just little snippets. I could swear this book was written by one man, and Joseph Smith is a very ignorant man and called the author of the book on his title page. So obviously he was the writer of it. It's without exaggeration the meanest book in the English language. Big statement. It has not one good sentence in it. I would as soon compare it, or would as soon compare a bat to the American eagle. Bible and Book of Mormon. So he didn't have a lot of nice things to say, and he had an agenda. He was upset. He was mad that all his people left. And so he'd said, okay, Joseph's the author, not a very good author, but an author. He wrote the Book of Mormon. That's how it came about, and all of it's going to fall apart. So he wrote many articles in the newspapers of his day in Ohio. He packaged them together and made the first anti-book. It's called Delusions. It was put out in 1832, 2 years after the church was started. Strong, wise, well looked at man. But something strange happened. In 1834, we've talked about this a little bit, we'll talk a little bit more, a book came out. It was a landmark anti-book, Mormonism Exposed, or Unveiled, pardon me. And the conception was Joseph didn't write the Book of Mormon. Other people did, straw men did. And we'll go through that in more detail coming up shortly. And so here's Alexander Campbell, a very well thought of man, certainly opinionated about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Put it all on paper, it's out there. In 1835, he does a damage control article, if you will. You know, all those things I said before, all of them, I was wrong. It wasn't Joseph that created the Book of Mormon. He couldn't have done it. Mormonism Unveiled showed me the light. That is the way, because there is where truth is. So Alexander Campbell was ready to defame himself, say all those things I said were not true because of this new book. So next time we're going to talk about what's in the book. And we talked a little about this before, but I'm going to finish this more broadly, and we'll just keep on moving up to today's antis. Thanks again. Hope to see you down the road.